प्राइमेशिया टीवी देखने वाले सारे ही दर्शकों का स्वागत है साडी इस खास रिपोर्ट दे विच। जी हाँ, अज असीं पहुंचे हाँ ब्रैम्पटन के रोज़ थिएटर च, जिथे नवे चुने गए मेयर पैट्रिक ब्राउन ते उन्हां दी कौंसल के बाकी मैंबरों वालों सहुं चुकी जानी है। नवीं कौंसल के सामने बहुत सारिया चुनौतियां ने। जदों ये चोणां हो रही सन तो उन्हां चोणां दे विच असीं बहुत सारिया अजिहे प्रोग्राम करवाए, बहुत सारिया डिबेट करवाइयां, इंटरव्यू कीतियां, जिहदे विच ये निकल के सामने आया कि ब्रैम्पटन के सामने समस्यावां किस तरह दियां ने। ब्रैम्पटन के सामने अपराध की समस्या, ब्रैम्पटन सामने हुण नवां जिहड़ा एक चैलेंज आ गया कि रायरसन यूनीवर्सिटी ब्रैम्पटन नूं नहीं मिल रही। ब्रैम्पटन के सामने आर्थिक तौर पर कई सारियां जिहड़ियां ने वो भी समस्यावां खड़ियां ने। इन्हां सारियां समस्यावां तो नवीं चुनी गई कौंसल किवें पार पाएगी, इहदे उपर भी प्राइमेशिया टीवी की नज़र बनी रहेगी। पर सब तो पहलां असीं देखदे हां अज दी ये सहुं चुक सैरेमनी। ब्रैम्पटन के नवे चुने गए मेयर पैट्रिक ब्राउन, रीजनल कौंसलरां ते सिटी कौंसलरां दा प्रभावशाली सहुं चुक समागम रोज़ थिएटर विच आयोजित किया गया। रीजनल कौंसलरां विच पॉल विसेंटे, माइकल प्लैशी, मार्टिन मेडिरोस, पैट फोर्टीनी और गुरप्रीत सिंह ढिल्लों ने सहुं चुकी, जदों कि सिटी कौंसलरां रोवेना सैंटोस, डग विलियम्स, जैफ बॉमैन, चारमैन विलियम्स और हरकीरत सिंह ने सहुं चुकी। इस वार की चुनी गई कौंसल की बनतर बहुत सभ्यक समाज वाली है, जिस विच 2 सिख, फिलिपीनो, इटैलीयन, पुर्तगाली तो इलावा पहली बार एक ब्लैक लेडी भी चुनी गई है। सहुं चुक समागम तो पहला पत्रकारां नाल गल करदिआं मेयर पैट्रिक ब्राउन ने आख्या कि वह ब्रैम्पटन के सर्वपक्षी विकास पर जोर देणगे ते इसलिए वह सूबाई और फैडरल सरकार तक पहुँच करनगे। उन्होंने आख्या कि भावें प्रीमियर डग फोर्ड नाल उन्हां दे संबंध कोई ज़्यादा दोस्ताना तो नहीं, पर ब्रैम्पटन के प्रोजैक्टां लई फंड लिआउण लई किसी नाल भी मिल के काम करन नूं तैयार हन। प्राइमेशिया टीवी नाल गल करदिआं रीजनल कौंसलरां मार्टिन मेडिरोस और पैट फोर्टीनी ने नवीं कौंसल नूं दरपेश चुनौतियां दा जिक्र कीता।
So one of the benefits of this longer transition period is that it gave us a chance to get together, and I had meetings, lunches and dinners with everyone on council, and I'm really excited. We've got a great city council with very impressive backgrounds. You know, learning about everyone's own experiences in different walks of life. It's going to be a pretty impressive team. There's a common sentiment amongst everyone that I sat with, and it's Team Brampton now, and it's about all rallying together. It doesn't matter who you supported before. We have one goal, and that's to serve our community, and there's a real sense of unity of purpose, a real sense of teamwork that I'm very grateful for. So we're going to have a council discussion on that very soon. I appreciate how engaged Charmaine is on this issue. I think she brings up some very valid points, and I'm looking forward to having the conversation with City Council. I realize there's a deadline that's rapidly approaching, but it's one of the many areas that we're being short-funded. The policing costs associated with this legalization, as much as provincial and federal governments are going to gain significant new resources from the legalization of marijuana to keep our streets safe, in Peel region we're looking at a cost of $9 million, it could be as high as $9 million, and the funding we're going to be getting back, even if we opt in, is only a little over $1 million. And so the cost associated with keeping our streets safe, it's disappointing that we haven't seen the full cost of that being borne by the governments that are going to, frankly, reap the financial rewards from this. So I don't think it's about whether you support the LRT or not. I wasn't there for the divisive debate that happened. What I highlighted in this campaign, and there was a majority, I think, consensus in the city that agreed with me, obviously by virtue of my election, was that we shouldn't settle for what was an inadequate funding envelope. If you look at the major transit investments that we're seeing in Hamilton, in Ottawa, in Scarborough, in Vaughan, the per capita share that Brampton was getting forced us to squabble over, frankly, an investment that was nowhere near what it should have been for Brampton. And I'm hoping that when we have, when we sketch where we want to go on transit. If we had our per capita share, it could be something greater than we've even considered before. Well, this has been a frustration for Brampton for a long time. Obviously, the representation on the region has not kept up with Brampton's population. Obviously, that's an argument that Brampton's been making again and again and again, and there hasn't been any interest in reconciling that at a provincial level. And as much as that's disappointing, my greater interest is having our issues when it comes to healthcare, education, and transit addressed. Well, I'm certainly not known as one of Doug Ford's best friends, but I'm willing to work with anyone who's willing to deliver funding for the city of Brampton. I don't care if it's Justin Trudeau or Doug Ford. This is about the city of Brampton, and it's in their self-interest. It's in Doug Ford and Justin Trudeau's self-interest to treat Brampton fairly. Frankly, if you want to be Premier or Prime Minister, everyone talks about that critical 905. Brampton gets more visits than any other city when it comes to leader visits during an election period. And the reason they visit so often is because it's a swing area that's critical for a party's ability to form government. And I think it would serve Doug Ford and Justin Trudeau well, not just to visit at election time, but to back up their interest in the city with real investments. And let me say I was encouraged that I've had, the Prime Minister's office has reached out twice now. I had a good conversation with the Prime Minister about making sure that our projects get funded, and I know it's simply talk at this point, but I sense there was a real openness to working together. Well, I agree with your question. I think you answered it in the question. Obviously, Brampton is being severely shortchanged when it comes to healthcare. The provincial average is 2.3 hospital beds. When it comes to the ratio, we have about 50% less hospital beds. It's a massive shortage. It's one of the things I look forward to speaking about tonight. And frankly, it's been a big issue for the city of Brampton for a long time. The Jamie Lee Ball's story, I remember talking about it at Queen's Park when I was in provincial politics. The experiences that people have had in healthcare in Brampton are unfair. We shouldn't be second-class citizens. We pay the same provincial taxes and deserve to have the same quality of healthcare as they would have anywhere else in the province. I think obviously there's a lot of disappointment when the province pulled their support and funding of the Ryerson project. There is still a real commitment with Ryerson and the city of Brampton to realize that project. It's in the best interest of the residents of Brampton. I think young people deserve to have that opportunity to have post-secondary education within our city, and we're going to continue to push it. It's an obstacle, what we've seen provincially, but it's an obstacle that's not going to deter our interest and our commitment to the project. Listen, I think we have a beautiful signal from voters that they want to see more diversity. The fact that we have the first Filipino Canadian in Rowena Santos, the fact that we have the first black woman elected in Charmaine, we have two Sikh councillors for the first time, two Portuguese Canadian councillors. We're seeing, finally, we're seeing a city council that increasingly reflects the diversity of our city. Well, I do live in Brampton. I live in the downtown near Gage Park. And have for a long time now. But I would say I think one of the benefits that I bring to this task is I have served at all three levels of government. I've served federally, provincially, and municipally, and so having served at each level, I respect the fact there's only one taxpayer, and that you can't simply point fingers at different levels of government. We all have to work together and find solutions, and I think I've got an understanding of where each level of government can contribute to best serve the city of Brampton. Well, obviously the city has to make a decision very soon, and we're looking forward to having that that discussion, that debate very soon. Well, it was one of the first questions that was raised, and just to say that that obviously I'm disappointed that even to opt in there is funding that is offered, but it's only covering $1 million of the $9 million in cost, and so this would be an easier decision if the funding for communities that opt in actually covered the policing costs, and it doesn't even. And so just another example where you have provincial and federal policy that doesn't bear and cover the cost associated with that new policy. I've spoken to a number of members of the provincial government. Have not spoken to Premier Ford, if that is the direct question, but I've spoken to a number of members of the cabinet and the caucus. Well, I certainly believe the city of Brampton should reflect the diversity of the city, and there are projects that you'll hear of in the near future to better get to that goal. One of them that I mentioned on social media, I was very heartened to see that the fire department has these engagement sessions now to get members of the community interested in firefighting to learn about a career in firefighting and how to apply and how to become a Brampton firefighter. It's an initiative of the Deputy Chief. I thought it was a great idea and look forward to seeing more initiatives like that.
Do you feel that City Hall, the staff at City Hall now does encompass the diversity of Brampton, or does it not?
I think obviously this is an ongoing project, but I think it's important for the senior staff and it's important for City Council that we continue to make sure that our city staff reflect the mosaic of the city. So obviously it's a warning sign what happened in Oshawa, and given some of the comments we saw in U.S. media and Canadian media, that there's obviously concerns for other aspects of the auto industry in Canada. So of course this is something that we're engaged with in economic development right now. Economic development isn't simply reaching out to new investment, it's about retention as well, and that's something that we're actively involved in. So obviously those matters are before the court, so it would be inappropriate to comment, but I know that the first item you raised is expected to be resolved very shortly, and it'll be nice that it'll be behind us. Obviously that predates my engagement in Brampton politics, but I'm glad that it'll be behind the city in the very near future.
The recent RCMP
in terms of the recent one, I don't want to speculate on what it may entail. I don't think that's helpful.
Yes, first of all, congratulations. And new council, new chapter, new beginning. So how do you feel?
Well, first of all, it's a real honor. I want to thank Fibe TV and the media outlet for really promoting this election, and that was important to get people out, to people know about the issues. But certainly the residents of Ward 3 and 4 have given my confidence, and I heard loud and clear what they want us to do is make sure we work in a way that we take advantage of the university, invest in transportation, but certainly control our expenses and really get a hold of that. And I just want to continue what I've done the previous 4 years, just work hard for the residents and always with my eye on the budget to make sure that we're not spending money where we shouldn't.
Big challenge is a united council. So, and that was the issue during the election. So how will you do work with the new mayor?
Well, we have new faces today, and I'm very excited to work with my new colleagues and certainly with the new mayor. I think there's been a very positive tone set by the mayor and set by my colleagues and some of the returning colleagues. I think that ultimately it's what we can do for the city of Brampton and move the city of Brampton forward. And I will say that on my behalf, I look forward to working with my colleagues in doing that.
Which one is a big challenge for a new council?
I think if we look at, if we look overall, we have to look at how do we invest in the university, how do we make those key investments, but at the same time ensure that our taxes are not going up. And that's going to be a challenge. I know the mayor has expressed several times he wants to freeze taxes, and certainly that will mean that we'll have to look at, make some difficult decisions regarding cost measures. So I look forward to making those decisions. That's why we're here. But I think that certainly would be the challenge. We can't be everything to everybody, really we have to be very mindful on what we do and really prioritize.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And you are one of the most senior council member over here. So what is a big challenge for you?
Well, I'm not senior. By age, there's other councillors that were elected the second time. There's no challenge. I think we have to work for the best for the community, and I always pushed on that. My goal is we have the Bramley area as these recreation centres that we got close to over $40 million in renovations, and I want to see these things through the next 4 years and coming back up for the recreation centres because they're all falling apart.
There were so many issues during our last council, so there were no unity in the council. So do you think that this time it will not happen again?
No, I don't think so. Helping. We have some really young, educated people. Like I said, I'm the oldest. I'm going to be 60. These people are very smart, educated people, and I think they're here for the right reason. No more bullying, pushing each other around, and we have to work together, even with the mayor, Patrick Brown, because we have to serve the community. And I know a lot of the seniors, we have to start giving them free facilities like we did the last 4 years. We're going to bring that forward and try to keep the residents, engaged and very happy and work together.
Increasing crime day by day is a big challenge. So how can you handle that?
You know what? That's a hard question. And now with this cannabis coming along, we don't even know what's going to happen. It's good to maybe to take these the cannabis stores in because we're getting funding. If we don't, we lose funding for our PO police. So there's a report coming Wednesday. We have to look at that and see what's the best interest. This cannabis thing might explode even more crime. We don't know. But there's one issue I gotta say. Even though we don't, it's already it's law, and we don't have these stores. At the end of the day, you can still order online. You can still go anywhere in Mississauga or another municipalities and pick it up. It's still coming to us. So that's where our worry is.
ਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਣੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਮੇਅਰ ਦੀ ਜੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਪੱਤਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਸੁਣੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨਵੇਂ ਚੁਣੇ ਗਏ ਕੌਂਸਲਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਏਸ਼ੀਆ ਟੀਵੀ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਚੁਣੌਤੀਆਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਹੁੰ ਚੁੱਕ ਸਮਾਗਮ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਪਰ ਹੁਣ ਸਹੁੰ ਚੁੱਕ ਸਮਾਗਮ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਚੁਣੌਤੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਤੋਂ ਪਾਰ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਪਾਊਗੀ ਨਵੀਂ ਚੁਣੀ ਗਈ ਕੌਂਸਲ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਉਹੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆਵਾਂ ਆਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਪਿਛਲੀ ਕੌਂਸਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਆਪਸੀ ਏਕੇ ਦੀ ਘਾਟ ਰਹੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਸ ਕੌਂਸਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਪਿਛਲੀ ਮੇਅਰ ਲਿੰਡਾ ਜੈਫਰੀ ਦੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਾਥੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਇਸ ਕੌਂਸਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਪੈਟਰਿਕ ਬਰਾਊਨ ਨਾਲ ਉਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਚੱਲ ਸਕਣਗੇ ਜਾਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਈ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਰੁਕਾਵਟਾਂ ਖੜੀਆਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਉੱਪਰ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਬਣੀ ਰਹੇਗੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੁੜੇ ਰਹੋ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਏਸ਼ੀਆ ਟੀਵੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ